Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. Today we're going to do a really weird kind of video. Sort of weird. It's a take on something that's been done before, but my son didn't know that when he came to me and said, "Hey Mom, I've got an idea for you for a video." And I said, "I'm all ears." And he said, "Pretend like something terrible happened and all of your makeup is gone, all your brushes, everything, it's all gone. And you have to start over with $50 and then, film you putting on that makeup." And I'm like, "Oh, honey, I can't get a face of makeup that I would actually wear for $50. I mean, I have gone to the Dollar Tree before. They have a line called LA Colors. And if I were younger, I could probably pull that off. But I did not like the look that I got with it. So yeah, I mean, it's possible to go get an entire face of makeup, but me personally, not being a snob, but it just doesn't look good on me. So I said, make it 100. I can do 100 really easy. Can you now? Definitely we're going to the drugstore, all right? But can I do it? This exact scenario has actually happened to two people that I know on YouTube during my time here. Obviously, when this happens, it's a true disaster. And you'll most likely lose everything in a disaster, not just your makeup. So this is just a fun and eye-opening video for me to do. I know that if this were actually to happen, the first thing I'd buy wouldn't really be makeup. Can I get an entire face of stuff for $100? $50? What can I actually do? Naturally, I'm going to start within my own makeup collection, things I already have that I've purchased from the drugstore because I know already that these items are good or they wouldn't have survived the last declutter. So I'll choose something from every category as products to start with, and we'll just run a total along the bottom and see where I'm at. If you want to see what I did, mistakes I made along the way, how I ended up, just keep watching. Milani's iconic eyeshadow primer. It just takes the tiniest amounts. For eyeshadow palettes, I wanted to give myself a variety. And so I love this from Flower Beauty. It is just gorgeous, blends so well. I could use the tar out of this. And then of course I have to go into an e.l.f. bite size. I love this. So this would satisfy my green itch. With this, I would be able to get that green look that I wanted. And then I would have my neutral every day with this. I think today we're going to use this, but we've already hit our first snag. So we no longer have the Glitzy Fritzy Essential Eye Set. Or any other fabulous brush I own and love. And I'm not going to have enough money to buy any. Not if I want all of this. So I have no choice but to kick it back old school. Like, what did I do back in the day? Well, I used the sponge tip applicator that was not generously provided with this. Or, like many of you, I used a Q-tip. Oh, by the way, I got that Q-tip from, my neighbor. But my lids were not slack then. I mean, look what a Q-tip's gonna do. At my age, brushes really are important. Let's just take this like I normally do from the crease up. I miss my E25 right now. Let's try the finger and see what happens. These eyeshadows are pretty smooth. I'm getting more chunky and a lot more product than I would use if I had a brush, but it can be done. Let's take this one here and I'll put that on my lid. I'm used to doing that with my finger for sure. To get into the corner, it's probably going to be better to use the Q-tip. Of course, this one, I'm going to use my pinky to get that little topper shine. Now let's take the Q-tip and come in here. I'll probably end up with this on my finger as well, just because I feel like I have better control over my fingers than this little bit of cotton. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of rough on the wrinkles. I'm definitely not gonna win any awards for this. I just recently did a video using this pencil and I liked it, so it was my choice. Let's get that Q-tip again and get this shade here. We'll kind of smoke this out a little bit. There with shadow. I would be having a hard time with mascara because I love this mascara so much. I probably would go for this. And I think it's $1 cheaper than this one that I recently found I love, and it's tubing. And you know how I feel about tubing. So it would be one of these two, so give or take $1, but this one's open. So I'm not going to waste my Sky High by opening it up when I have others open. So we're going to use this one and we'll just leave that up in the air. No eyelash primer for moi. This is too dark up here for me. I like it lightened. I usually take care of that with actually YSL, okay? The YSL pen, but I can do the same thing pretty much with this e.l.f. pen. And I just get some on the back of my hand, spread it around with the brush, and then I come up here and I will lighten this out, usually after I've already done my brows, so we might have to come back. As I'm looking in this 10 by, I'm noticing that there are sparkles in the eyeshadow from Flower, so I would be crying because I don't like that, or I didn't remember, or I've had this so long that it was back when I didn't mind that. I'm now stuck with an eyeshadow palette that has something I absolutely hate in it and I won't use. With that done, I was like, yes, I will score and clean up in the brow department because I love the entire e.l.f. line when it comes to brows. I could use this, freeze. It wouldn't be, you know, my Benefit 24-hour brow set, of course, but I could make do with this. I got this, I love it, and this is one of my all-time favorite pencils. And then I remembered, how are you going to put this and this on? Because I don't have any brushes. I lost them all, remember? And it's going to take all my money to buy makeup, so I can't buy brushes. So we are left with my old school, my OG brow pencil from e.l.f. in neutral brown, which I still love this pencil, so I don't have a problem with it. Now we're going to do the face, and the primer I chose was this from e.l.f., which is grippy. The foundation I chose for a few reasons was this powder foundation by L'Oreal. This is a great powder foundation. I wanted it because if I buy a liquid or a cream, I need to also buy a powder. So why not just start with a powder foundation and go from there? It has its own little applicator, which is of course dirty. I'm not going to be using this because it's dirty, but this is a really good one. As you can see, I do use it. What I'm going to do instead is reach for this Bare Minerals one, but this applies the foundation really well, I think. I'm just going to get some and pray this works out. Might not have been a good idea to put down the primer with this. Using that grip primer is not a good idea with powder foundation. If you look at my nose, you'll see why I'm saying that. See right there? It like won't let me move it. If I were going to redo this, I wouldn't use that primer. Maybe I could even save myself some bucks not getting this primer at all. The concealer I picked was the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. I'm just going to pat it down. That worked out okay, I think. Same thing over here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Have I ever told you guys that my daddy used to call my sister Little Bit? Now a product I was not willing to sacrifice, and that's the bronzer. Over budget, over budget, over budget. L'Oreal all the way, but what I wasn't thinking about was how am I going to put it on? Because I don't have a brush. No brushes. That's a real major pain, isn't it? Yeah, it is. When I was younger, I actually used Kleenex, just like in the 80s, except my skin was plump and it didn't move all around like this. I decided to go ahead and use the same foundation sponge, even though it's not going to give me the diffused look that I wanted. Guess what? Using a Kleenex won't either. So that wasn't a very good choice. I'm also finding that I don't love this as much as I thought I did. I would probably actually, if I was going to redo this, I would probably actually go for cookies and cream or something like that in the bite size from e.l.f. L'Oreal Color Riche, not this color. I would pick a different color, but this is what I would take. And I would actually do what I did in the 80s. And I would use the lipstick as a blush as well. And I feel so validated because Lisa Eldridge shows this all the time. And I'm like, yes, girl. In the 80s, this is what we did. If you was po girl like me, you didn't have the money for a lipstick and a blush. So you used your lipstick as your blush. You might even mix it in with some lotion or some Vaseline to give it more slip. And then I'm going to put it on my mouth. This one here is not the color I would want to wear every day. Ooh, yuck. This isn't doing good over that primer at all. Yeah, we're missing powder foundation. I won't ever do that again. But the thing about this lipstick is I can lighten it with concealer. I can dab it on instead of going full on. Here, there's a kiss for you because I love you. You're also always going to know that your blush matches your lips because they're the same thing. Now I'm going to lighten this lip color with concealer here. And put that on my mouth to lighten it up. Because I don't want it to be that shade today. Now I'm going to use this new Milani thing that I got for highlight. And then setting spray. Ooh, that just lifted that powder right off my nose. We are having a good time. I'm going to take this and set it down. Love this Physicians Formula Essence of Healthy. And that concludes my way over budget face from the drugstore. Let's revise and get rid of half these products. See if we can get our total down and do a better face. All right, so I have revised the list of things and I got rid of the L'Oreal bronzer because I don't have a brush to put it on with. So I need to swap that out for something else, make it something less expensive so that I can have 3 brushes. Now, no, I can't have these 3 brushes in this budget, but I carefully chose these 3 because they are similar to size and function of 3 of the e.l.f. brushes. In the white handle, e.l.f. makes some pretty good brushes, and I used to have them all. Well, pretty much all of them. Then I got myself in a tough spot, and I sold as a set, like bundled, all of my e.l.f. brushes, all of my Wet n Wild brushes, my Real Technique brushes. If you've ever wondered whatever happened to those brushes you used to use, I sold them. I get sad thinking about all of the brushes I used to have that I don't have anymore. What we're going to do is e.l.f. makes an eyeliner brush that is like a flat definer, $2. They make a little blender that's $2. That's kind of about this size and splay. And they make a smudger brush, okay, that's about like this for $2. So $6 of the new budget is spent on brushes so that I don't have to use my fingers and Q-tips. Just my skin is too saggy and stuff for that nonsense now. Starting back over again. Now we're going to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer, which I kept, but we're going to use it as a primer as well. So the Milani primer, out the door. e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer is going to be used as our eyelid primer and our concealer. Now I'm going to take my foundation here and with my brush, I'm going to set this because it's a concealer. It's going to crease really quick. So let's powder it from the crease up. I got rid of the Flower Beauty Quad. In fact, I'm going to declutter that because it's got those sparkles in it. And instead, I pulled in 2 of these. Now I have my green. I love this palette, but of course I'm not going to wear this every day. So I pulled in this one as well. The reason I chose this is because it's still got a green in it. It's a lighter green, a different kind of green. I know, what am I if I'm not using green? But it's also got these 2 shades here I need. So I think I'm going to be happier with that choice. With my blending brush now, I'm going to dip in here. I wish I'd have spent $2 more and got a fluffier brush too. I can. So we'll pretend that I spent $2 more. 5. The black handled brushes are a little bit better and a little bit more. And got a fluffier blender from e.l.f. so I could blow that out better. Now if you're wondering why I'm not saying let's just pay the price of the Sydney Grace brushes, because obviously I like them. You can't get Sydney Grace in the drugstore. This is for the drugstore, remember? Same eyeliner as before. Same brow pencil as before. Same mascara as before. Again, we're going to use a dry one, okay, which is not the same as the L'Oreal one, but it's similar in the way it picks up and everything. No primer this time, just over moisturized skin. I swear I've used this foundation a lot. The application sponge makes a big difference because this never happens when I use this with the L'Oreal sponge. So we're just going to have to ignore that that's happening. I first thought maybe it was the gripping primer and it did cause me some problems, but that separation on my nose, that's not supposed to be happening and hasn't happened before. Another reason I'm sticking with this particular foundation is because I can take this on the go and touch up if I have to. And
That's going to be really important now that I don't have a primer. Now, I reviewed this in my Milani video, but I didn't like it for what it says it's supposed to be for. It's supposed to be a contour. But as a bronzer, let's just dab a little bit on here and give my cheeks a little bit of bronze just to make this foundation not so flat. Then the lipstick trick, of course. And I'm just going to tap that on here and smooth it out. Secret friend. Yeah, I found this out in the car because that's where I keep it. No, I don't. Okay, Marilyn Monroe used to do this. Actually, Marilyn Monroe used to put this on as a moisturizer. Okay, Vaseline. It's not a new thing. You can use Vaseline for a ton of stuff. Okay, creepy eyes, you're cheating. Put it in the total. Okay, lip gloss. Well, wait a minute. I forgot. I have a travel size Vaseline in my purse, which would always be with me, so take that back off. Highlight. Let's put it right here. Marilyn used to put it here. You can use it underneath your mascara for a primer. You can use Vaseline for a lot of things, but anyway. Maybe I'll do a video about that. All the things you can use Vaseline for. But can we do better? Like our mascara. Is there a less expensive mascara to be found? Can we get to that $50? Because ever since he said that to me, I've been wondering, can I actually get to $50? Let's go have a look. My third attempt, I decided to go to Ulta online so that I could gain access to things that I might not be able to find either in the drugstore or at Ulta if I physically went in. Things like Essence or Wet n Wild. Sometimes they have products that aren't in the store, but if I buy it online, I can get it. So keeping that in mind, also remember that when I swap things out, they actually have to be things that I know have used, would actually use again. It can't just be some random cheap thing that I find on the website. As you can see, I've got the 2 bite-sized palettes in here. And for $1 more, I was actually able to get this set. So I went ahead and picked this up for $12 instead of paying $11 for the 4 brushes that I wanted. I swapped out the bronzer situation for an Essence powder bronzer that I've used before, and I think it's kind of nice. Keeping the same Milani eye pencil, concealer, I swapped out the lipstick situation for Mauve Outta Here with Wet n Wild, which I've had before and quite like, for $3.99. And I swapped out my mascara for Essence Lash Princess at $4.99. That brings my total to $67.95. Then I thought to myself, what if I went directly someplace like e.l.f. or LA Girl or Wet n Wild, went to their website and purchased the same kinds of products. When I do this, I need to focus on a core group of products to keep everything fair and even, so that would be where we are right now. So the first thing I need to look for is a powder foundation. If I can't find a powder foundation, then I'm going to be forced into buying a liquid cream or something else, which will require me to have a powder. And of course, if I do that, then I'll need another brush. I'm going to need a powder brush. So let's hop, skip, jump over to e.l.f. This is my e.l.f. cart right now. What I have in it is the high definition powder, the CC cream, which I quite like, and the same concealer, the Eau Satin lipstick, which I quite like. I haven't reviewed them for you yet, but I did purchase a couple of these, so I'll be reviewing those for you and a few other things soon. But I chose that lipstick. The same concealer, brow pencil. This here I've also picked up to review for you. I don't know yet, because we're going to do this live together. Rather, this is going to be one that I do love or not, but, you know, it's the most promising on their page. This eyeliner, I do like this putty bronzer, and it is cream. The same 2 eyeshadow palettes that I have before, and these brushes here, which they don't have in a set. So I had to actually buy. Isn't that weird? And in addition, I have added this powder brush, which I used to love, and I need it for the powder that's up here. The e.l.f. total cart is $81.60, but we should go back to the Ulta cart and make us a couple of changes here to keep all things the same. And there, let's remove this powder foundation and add The two cheapest foundations that I found that I knew would work for me are Maybelline Fit Me. We'll move that to the bag. Now I need a powder and that same powder brush. Now where is my Ulta total? If I just wing it and get the things that I wanted to get at Ulta, $76.44, which is cheaper than e.l.f. at $81.60. Would you have guessed that? Or would you have assumed that e.l.f. was the cheapest? Let's run over to LA Girl, because I quite like LA Girl. I find that most things I use from LA Girl, I like. Look, I've got these same products. I've got a concealer, I've got the foundation, I've got the powder, and of course then I need a powder brush. I had to put these 4 eye brushes in there that they have because, of course, powder and bronzer situation. Can you believe LA Girl has no greens? What? I couldn't buy any green eyeshadow? What the world? But because I'm buying 2 eyeshadow palettes in the e.l.f. cart and the Ulta cart, I went ahead and put 2 in here, being all things the same, and we are at $117. Here we are at the Wet n Wild cart, and as you can see, our total is closer, but we don't have any brushes in here. We are at just over $50 at Wet n Wild. They don't have a green palette either, so I just threw 1 in there so that we would actually have 2 eyeshadow palettes in there, but we have all of our same things. And what happened to Wet n Wild's brushes? I don't know. They don't have any brushes for sale on their website, but I'm obviously going to need that. So we can go over to Ulta and get the $12, for this and bring that up. Let's see what we're looking at here. $54.59 plus the $12 for brushes over at Ulta. We come up with $66.59, which is the cheapest cart that I can get by with. Well, actually, we have to fix a couple of things. I forgot to add the $7 powder brush, and I have 2 by accident setting powders in this cart, so we have to take off for that. $67.10 is our new Wet n Wild total. Something that you need to keep in mind, though, if you ever really truly are going to do this, is sometimes it does not pay you to buy drugstore, particularly when we're talking about brands like Milani. For example, I've done this breakdown here for you. I took a little bit of time and went and got all of the setting powders from these places. As you can see, Laura Mercier works out to be $1.48 per gram. It's $43 to go buy their powder, and you may go, whoa, that's just so astronomical, Betty, is it? Because look at Milani. If you look at the Milani setting powder, the new one with the mesh that they just come out with, they're charging you $2.60 per gram. That's more than Laura Mercier. And LA Girl is also higher than Laura Mercier at $1.66 per gram. You have to think that out, get your calculators out, and make sure that you're actually getting a really good deal. Based on all of it, I think that me personally, I would be more happy just going straight to Ulta, getting the brushes and the different things per brand that I want for those categories. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. How do you think I did? Can you advise us on products that are really good, that will be something that you don't actually hate to use every day? List below products for me and others to know what are some tried and true things that you have found that don't cost a fortune. All right, then, I want you guys to know you're the best part of the Fritzy family, and that if you're not having a blessed day, just go be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
Somebody's out there. It's the boogeyman. It's the boogeyman. It is. I think it is the boogeyman. Oh, it's just Amazon. It's okay. It's not the boogeyman. But who's that? Satisfy my green itch, right? Like the green hornet. Wait a minute. That's Green Giant, right? Green Giant. Keep wanting to look in this mirror that's not a mirror. I see right through you. We are going to find a way to make this work. 'Cause love will find a way. I ran out of air in the middle of that. Pull off, no foundation. Oops, Peter, you idiot. I hate your guts so bad. But I need them, so we'll put up with it. Celebrate good times. Oh, yeah. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. You fool. Do-do-do. Just put on a moisturizer I didn't Peter! I spit on you, didn't I? Well, you deserve it, because I don't have a ton of darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I'm going to conquer you again. I'm gonna do it with this e.l.f. wand. And dee 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 dee.